Do you know how to build rapport? Hello, my name is Rob Spence, the Managing Director of Paragon Sales Solutions. One key word which is thrown around in sales is rapport. We all talk about rapport, developing rapport, needing rapport. Let's talk about rapport. Okay. For one, it's a really funny word to say if you keep saying rapport, rapport, rapport over and over again. Okay, so rapport, put simply, is the relationship between two people. So whether that be a prospect and a salesperson, whether that be yourself and your neighbour, so on and so forth. Rapport is just basically the small little relationship that you develop. It doesn't mean you're going to go hang out with them and go cinema. You might do. It's just that simple little tidy relationship. So now we know what rapport is, let's swiftly move on to my 5 tips on how to develop rapport. So tip number 1, you need to communicate well. We all know, and I always say this, is that every salesperson or every human being, not just salespeople, have 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you're constantly talking at someone, you're going to put them off. However, at the same time, if you listen too much and say nothing, you're probably not going to get much back. So communicate well, communicate in a nice, friendly, polite manner. Manners cost nothing, use a lot of manners. Use all of your communication skills, your body language, the tone of your voice, speed of your voice, the way you listen, and communicate with whoever you want to build rapport with. Tip number 2 is find common ground. This can be quite an easy thing to do if you ask plenty of open-ended questions. A lot of, I think, maybe sales trainers or kind of sales managers maybe hate their sales team asking, oh, what have you been up to at the weekend? Or what did you do last night? All those kind of questions. But do you know what? I love them. Do you know why I love them? Because we are human beings, and human beings love to communicate. And by asking open-ended questions such as those, you're going to learn a lot more about who you're dealing with. So by asking these open-ended questions, we can learn a lot about our prospect. We can learn a lot about who we're talking to, and we can find that common ground in which we can then, tip number 3. Number 3 is we need to create shared experiences. When we share things, we are more likely to develop a rapport or develop a relationship. Now that can be anything. It can be from a sweet, a cookie, a cup of coffee, or that kind of stuff. Or it could just be a link. You can ask the person you're speaking to what they did at the weekend. They can say, watched Leicester City. What? No way you watched? I'm a massive Leicester City fan. I never. Did you watch the game? Did you? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay. What do you think to it? Oh yeah, good. Yeah, yeah. Hey, did you see James Maddison's goal? No, I missed it because I went in the turnstiles to grab a beer. Hey, listen, Mr. Prospect, I've got a link to that goal. Let me send you a link to James Maddison's goal and you can watch it later on. Even that's a shared experience, right? It was a bit of a weird one. Anything that you share with the person you'll speak to will help you to develop a rapport. Tip number 4 is show empathy or be empathetic. This is where, once again, in tip 1, we talked about communicating well. You need to really use plenty of active listening. You could be speaking to someone, asking lots of open-ended questions, and they could be talking about things that go on for quite a while. They could be talking things that are quite personal to them, or views or opinions that are quite important to them. If you show rudeness and try and interrupt that, or break that down, or try and, argue with those views or opinions, you're not being very empathetic in the scenario, are you? And being empathetic will help you to develop that rapport. And finally, tip number 5, try and mirror your prospect. We spoke about mirroring in a previous sales snippet. I think it was the one where we were talking about being a naked butler, maybe. If you can mirror the person you're speaking to, then you'll develop that common ground and be able to share that kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but by mirroring your prospect, you'll get on, well, so much better with them than if not. So if you're speaking to someone and they're really, they're quite outgoing, quite extroverted and so on, then mirror that a little bit. You don't have to go over the top and start drinking, at noon and going haywire all the time. But if you can match that tonality and that passion you'll be mirroring and you'll share that common ground. On the same time, if you speak to someone who's quite reserved, quite quiet, maybe likes to just listen more than talk, then mirror and just fit into that role that you have to play in that conversation. All of those 5 tips should give you some great ideas on how to build rapport. Rapport is very crucial for sales because it helps to develop a relationship, and we all know that as we all love to buy from people that we love, relationships and rapport are vitally important. So, do you want to build some rapport with me? Shall we start to converse? Do you want to mirror what I'm giving out? Drop me an email, rob@paragonsalessolutions.co.uk. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, all the best.